Good evening, good afternoon, or even good morning, wherever you are in the world. So lovely to see you. And today I want to talk about timing. So if you're new here or you're old here, drop me a like, drop me a comment with any questions that you want me to go over. I just wanted to talk about timing, like divine, juicy timing, and specifically this can apply to any areas of our life, of course, but specifically in regard to sex, like timing around sexual encounters and so on. So, well, if you watch, you don't even need to go to porn, right? If you watch like Netflix, and you see the couple and there's a bit of a build up and then they just together and, it's all over like very, very rapidly, which I suppose maybe it creates adrenaline on film or it looks good on film. But in reality, that kind of sex, which is what is very common for people to do, you're actually like really missing out on a lot of the experience. So somebody asked me the question specifically like in relation to like, he's practicing semen retention, so he's obviously going into like conscious sexuality. And at what point with starting a relationship and having a relationship is the right perfect time to basically start having sex? Yeah, you can see and hear me. I'm glad to see that. The problem when I had that problem before, it was because the phone was attached to the Bluetooth speaker in the other room. So that was all that was going on. But so anyways, right? So specifically when we're looking at like a couple, we'll talk about a few different situations. So first of all, a couple that's into conscious sexuality, that's getting together for the first time. At what point should things get physical, so to speak, So my experience with practicing sexual alchemy, sexual transmutation, and so on, is there something incredibly like beautiful and magical about the time that you spend with someone before you've ever had sex, right? And it can go on for months. I've had it go on for months with people, and there's something really like quite lovely and just like incredible about this time. It's got such a beautiful energy. It's like I keep talking about like connecting in with this teenage energy, because when we connect into this teenage energy, it's like we're connecting into the energy of youthfulness. And this is what we as Taoists want to do. We want to connect into the energy of youthfulness, and we want to feel young. We want to tap into that young energy and stay nice and young, essentially, So getting anyways into one of the aspects of it is that when we are by the way, if you're new here, you don't know what I'm talking about, everything I'm talking about is based on Taoist sexology, okay? If you've never heard about it before, I definitely suggest to either we can send you some resources. If you want to know a little bit more, drop a comment, just ask. I can send you a masterclass talking a little bit more about this whole thing of like sexual transmutation. There's also a post pinned to the top of the group as well that can be helpful. But essentially, when we get aroused, when we're with someone and we get aroused, the sexual energy, it starts to arise, yeah? Because most people don't know actually how to deal with the sexual energy, they kind of tend to tense onto it and then get a lot of sort of frustration and don't know how to deal with it. And it can manifest in men as literally like blue balls and lumps and various other problems. Women, it can manifest as well as often different way, like often in women it's more like of a just shut down thing like going on. But essentially, by pushing all this energy down, getting it stuck there, all it's going to do is cause frustration, and it doesn't help to connect. What it will actually do is cause you to be irritated at the other person because you're blaming them for making you feel this energy and you don't know what to do with it and you just want to release it. Now, when you're able to practice sexual transmutation, which, if you don't know, it certainly does have like a need to be able to process the emotions, deal with the emotions, because whatever emotions we are like blocking, basically the emotions are going to like stop the sexual energy from moving through the body. So it's essential before practicing sexual alchemy, sexual transmutation, to actually get into, first of all, practice emotional inner alchemy and clear out just at least as many of those blockages as you can. You can't get them all out of there, but clear out like as much as you can. In which case, then the energy can start to rise up the body, and we start losing the kind of need and the urgency to just basically have a release. And instead of sex being about having that release, what happens is it rises up, it fills the body, and it does start to rejuvenate actually our cells, but it also creates an amazing, incredible, wonderful connection with the other person. So what basically happens when sexual energy or orgasmic energy, the horny feeling, whatever we want to call it, when it rises up and it then comes into our hearts and it connects with that love energy, it starts to transmute and it turns into purple energy. So the purple energy is the superfood for the soul that we're trying to create as Taoists. And when that purple energy starts to spread through the cells and create like a vibration through the cells, that's when, first of all, we start healing the body, and then we start having this incredible, like creative energy as well that we actually are able to start using with this person to create. And that can include creating a beautiful new relationship with that other person. Now, of course, like doing this stuff, like originally, it can be like challenging, right? By the way, welcome to the new people who joined. Can I ask you, please give me a like, give me a heart. You can give me an angry face if you don't like what I'm saying, but just let me know you're here. Let me know what you think. And do feel free to drop a question and ask anything that you want me to go over as well. So we're just here talking about when should a couple start having sex together, okay? And I'm explaining about when we're practicing sexual transmutation. So when we go from this state of feeling the sexual energy down below, trying to like force it down, creating all this sexual frustration and bad vibes with the other person, to actually having done enough work on our emotions to clear them out and allow the sexual energy to rise into and up the body and to rise up into the heart, for that energy then, so the blue orgasmic to combine with like the red love energy, and then to start to transmute through the whole body, and basically to start to heal the body and produce all this creative, amazing energy that you guys can start then like working together on projects, creating projects and creating things together. And I've experienced some times in my life since I started to practice this, maybe like times where I would have just got together and had sex with someone, and you know, maybe it not ended up so well, or you know, it would have been maybe wasted or something. Whereas once I started to learn to transmute, it was like I was able to, from a place of a pure heart, connect with someone, be consciously aware about the attraction, not necessarily ever have it go to something sexual, but be like really cool and really fine and really okay about whatever was going on, because I'd learned enough to be able to master my energy. Now, of course, if we're looking at like wanting to actually create like a lifelong relationship with another person, being able to like spend this time before and really fill our body up with energy and really like share the energy with the person, it gives like really incredible like opportunities to get to know each other and grow your relationship and save problems like later down the line. So I really recommend, I really think like just becoming conscious, slowing things down, really being aware of your body. Robert, you coming to join me? And really being aware of your body and being aware, what do you want, what does the other person want, having conscious communication, so you can have like conscious communication around like your feelings, conscious communication also around basically what you want, what you don't want. So you're much more able to like explore pleasure together as well, once you've like really slowed things down. And you can really start, like, since I started learning to really slowly explore my body together with a partner, like my whole experience of pleasure and orgasms and everything has really changed. So have you got a question for me there, or you wanted to say something?
Oh, me? No, I was just hey, no, I was just joining. Just came to listen. How you doing?
You got to ask me a question now that you've come on, because it said you were asking.
Yeah. Okay.
You were asking.
So yeah, I missed the beginning part of that. Were you talking about a specific time frame to wait before having sex with somebody? Or?
Look, I'm not going to say it's got to be like 15 days, 3 hours, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, but I think when you slow it down, the more you are able to master the energy, and the more you're able to like slow things down, instead of rushing into something, which so many people do, often from a place of like being driven by uncomfortable emotions, or maybe even like from a place of victimhood. So there's this whole thing going on amongst this kind of toxic dating community for guys, where guys are told, well, you better get with her within 3 dates, or you might get friend zoned, and so on, which is all a very like lack based and fear based kind of way of like dating and getting to know someone, you know. And I've actually literally recommended to some people, like, forget about friend zone, just follow your heart and really connect, and just be yourself without thinking, oh, am I going to get this result, or am I going to whatever, you know. And those people have found like beautiful relationships through doing this. So I think like the more you can build up energy, because once people have already started having sex, the relationship changes, right? You know, it's not to say it goes downhill, right? But it's just different, and you're never ever going to get those moments where you never had sex before, and you don't really know what's going on, and there's this excitement, and there's this enjoyment, and there's this fun, and there's this, it's very exciting when you're kind of like, do they like me, do they not? You know, I mean, I remember as a teenager really loving that. And I suppose I feel like now, like, overall like insecurity in people has grown a lot, where they're like, oh my god, I don't know if that person likes me, and afraid to like play with the energy, you know. So I suppose what I'm talking about is, I'm talking about something where it is quite important to like build your own confidence, get comfortable with yourself, get comfortable with your emotions, get like really into a place of like power, you know. And from that place, then be connecting with the other person, and really just connecting with the energy and playing with the energy. Because yeah, I mean, Robert, have you, because you've done my program, right? And you know this, whatever the week is, where you're learning how to create a connection with someone without touching them, like a kind of almost powerful, almost like orgasmic connection with someone without even touching them. How did you experience that? Have you played with it at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still single, so like I haven't you know, I haven't had a lot of chance to play with it. But yeah, it's definitely my intention, and I'm sort of, it's also making me more kind of like choosy in a way. Just I'm looking for someone that I might be able to share this kind of this sort of lifestyle with. But yeah, no, but I use things like the you know, bringing the energy up from your heart into my eyes, try to connect from the heart and things like that. Yeah.
How does it work?
Yeah, no, it definitely works. I think people want to sort of spend more time with me, and yeah, it's very positive because they can feel it in your aura as well. And
because when we're working on our energy and we create nice energy, it really like drags the right people in, you know. And this is the thing with sexual energy, is so many men make the mistake that they go from the woman, penis energy, straight at the woman. With most women, that's not going to be the right energy to go at her with, you know. But when that penis energy comes up into your heart and there's something juicy about it, but it's very pure hearted, and they're not going to feel intimidated, they're not going to feel afraid, and so on. And you then send that energy from the heart, or even bring it up into the eyes, and you're kind of sending this deep soul energy. You know, it's so rare that people actually feel that. But when they start to feel it, it's like really something that can be like really mind-blowing for them.
Is that what you mean by, because I remember reading, I think it was in the course about connecting to a woman with your feminine energy. Is that what you mean by that? Or?
Okay, so the idea of that is that, you know, we all know by now probably that the sex you see in porn is not really that great, in real life, especially for the woman. And I read a scary statistic today, which is that today 10% less women are having orgasms than they did 10 years ago. Wow. Or 20 years ago or something. So the amount of women having orgasms has massively dropped. And you do think, well, isn't it funny that there's like getting so much more porn, and yet women are having like less orgasms, not more, you know, which a healthy sex education should be doing like the opposite. So the idea is, you know, I mean, you know about the flight and fight thing, obviously, from having done the program, that men go into flight or fight, women go into flight or fight. And as for men, it can make men come too quickly or not get an erection. For women, it can make us not have an orgasm. So most women, like the majority of women, will kind of struggle with a partner with orgasm, you know. So statistics are saying 80% of women are not orgasming from the actual penetration. But I have to say, from my experience talking to other women, talking to clients, is, you know, because there's not much education going on, men often very much grab and go quite roughly. So for example, if a guy is jerking off like this all the time, how is he going to know to gently touch? If he's not gently touching his own penis, how is he going to know to gently touch a woman? So to take the woman out of the flight or fight and get her to really open up and relax into that juicy space, for number one, it probably takes some time, getting to know each other, talking about feelings and so on. You know, I mean, I speak to so many people that say, oh, I have this sexual problem. And I'm like, okay, so explain about how you have sex. And they're like, well, I meet on a dating app. Then we go for dinner. Then we go home. Then I try to have sex and it doesn't work. And I'm like, maybe you need to get to know, you know, the person. But we've just been reduced into these objects where it's just this kind of mechanical bam, bam, bam. And then everybody's getting bored. Everybody's cheating on their husband. Everybody's, you know, looking for more and more and more to fulfill them. But when we're not able to actually sit with that energy and fill our body up with that energy, we're inevitably going to be unfulfilled, you know.
Well, actually, I was with my ex sort of fairly recently. I think December, and but I mean, obviously, because she's my ex, I've got a history with her. But I did try. I did things differently. Obviously, I like slowed down. I was more like gentle and stuff. But she was just like fuck me hard, basically. So I guess she's not. Yeah, obviously she's not used to the gentle way, and it'd probably be something I'd have to talk to her about and explain it.
Connect with her, because when you connect with her, when you're really connected, then they can go into that space of being safe and slowing down. Because if the woman is wanting like fuck me hard, do whatever, that's because it's too traumatic. She doesn't feel safe to go into that relaxed, calm space. Because if she goes into that space, she's then going to be very vulnerable. Whereas going fuck me hard and so on, you don't need to be vulnerable in that space as well.
That makes sense.
So, I mean, when we go into this slow tantric style, Taoist style sex, definitely like a lot of the vulnerabilities come up. I mean, I think that's why so many guys, they want to just go in, bam, 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 because if they slow down and start being gentle and tender, you know, all these feelings will come up. And I'm sure that you can testify, Robert, before you did the program, and now since you did it, I mean, how has it changed your approach to sexual relations?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I was, you know, before I did your program, I was kind of yeah, I was just looking for like casual sex basically, and I wasn't really ready for a relationship, and I was just kind of, yeah. But now it's made me also kind of think, no, I want to have a deeper connection with somebody, and I want to, yeah, connect with somebody.
And did
So
you
that
feel sexually fulfilled? Was the sex good before?
maybe with like maybe like one or two people, but yeah, majority not. Yeah, I'm not a fan of casual sex, I have to say. You know, it's glorified a lot in, you know, like films and stuff, and I think it's much better if you have a connection with somebody.
And it's the same thing that when we have like a lot of emotions we can't deal with and we start connecting with someone and getting close to them, it makes it really hard, you know, if we're not able or not willing to deal with those emotions, even if we're willing but we don't have the tools, it can, you know, it can be difficult, it can be overwhelming, everything can start going like really, really chaotic, like too much stuff can come up, arguing and so on, you know. So having like the tools, it's just is really, really important, and I suppose the will as well.
Yeah.
And when we start to like become the master of these emotional energies, instead of having them like control us in the sexual way that we behave, to you know, to kind of sabotage, we can actually start having them you know, we can actually start really choosing to have the kind of sex that we want.
Yeah. No, yeah, no, I'm so grateful that I found your course and all that. And I want to learn more, obviously, like like Iron Chart and everything, and just more so get deeper.
Yeah, the iron shirt is like amazing. And I had said, I'll just mention this now as well. Like you probably saw the post where I'm talking about, we get taught to do iron shirt, to be a teacher of the sexual alchemy. And, um, because we've got to so much be in control of the energy, basically. But yeah, I love this. Maximilian, women and men are ruined with toxic non-emotional music that is forced by the porn sex selling industry. And it's just, we are all, it's consumer society. It's like everything got turned into a consumer product, and then we've got turned into a consumer product that are just there to consume each other, you know. And it's like this whole thing being fueled by this free pornography that anybody can get onto when they're like 6 years old.
And
you know,
even the porn actors, like I was reading something about, well, it totally makes sense, but I was reading something about most of the male porn actors, like they're constantly on, they're just popping loads of Viagra, and there's something they inject into their penis
yeah,
as well.
I think I told you so. At the beginning of the porn movie, they inject something into the penis to make it hard, and at the end they inject something in to make it soft, and basically in a few years everything down there is just
They can't be healthy at all, like.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think apparently there's a lot of like drug use and meth use apparently amongst you know, porn, and some of them are coming out and saying, you know, that they end up like being really abused. And it's not that there's something wrong about images of people having sex. I mean, I thought in the 90s there was some amazing erotica came out in the 90s. It was like really beautiful. It showed the whole story, it showed the emotions. And I think that when we take the emotions away from sex and then we just turn it into this robotic thing, not only will it be unfulfilling, not only do we lose a lot of sensation, not only will we just always be chasing something, but I think it makes it kind of hazardous and dangerous as well for all parties, you know.
Yeah, totally. Definitely.
And we miss out on the depth of it as well. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, this is a cool topic. I'm glad that that question came up, and I definitely think this, you know, spending time with someone, just being able to like really get used to the sexual energy coming up, you know, get used to it coming in the bodies, get really comfortable with it, feel it coming up into the heart, share it, you know, feel love, feel the sexual energy and the love, and to spend this time. Because for those of you who haven't done my course, I do a whole week at the beginning for men and women, teaching before doing any touch on the body, just how to create a magnetic connection. So you're almost creating like an orgasmic connection without even sort of touching the other person. So just doing it with your eyes and your heart. But once you've learned to like master energy and do things with energy, it's absolutely possible to do this. So I'm noticing some new people came in, and I just want to say hi, and please do drop a love heart if you love me. You can make an angry face if you're angry at me, or whatever emoji you want to use. Let me know you're here. Drop me a comment if you got any questions here. I'm just going to check. Yeah, absolutely. There's porn values promoted everywhere that are not recognized as porn. Exactly. And porn is not about people having sex. It's not about people being naked. It's not about, the more I really realize what porn is about, the more I realize it's so anti-sex. It's really anti-sex. And now men as well are having like less sex now than they've done in generations and generations for decades. Now that this, is here. So I'd like to just close up now, right? And I'm hungry. I want to make some food. And I'm trying to limit these lives to half an hour. But I'll come back on Wednesday at 8 p.m. I didn't actually know. I'll put it up this evening, what I'm going to talk about on Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that, guys. Wednesday, 8 p.m., same time. No, 1 hour later. Okay. So, yeah, beautiful. Okay. Have a great rest of your day, whatever time you're on. And do watch this video from the beginning again if you haven't seen the whole thing. And give me a thumbs up, a heart, or whatever, just to let me know you've been here. And if you need any more information about the topic that I'm talking about, you want to know about transmuting sexual energy, you want to know a little bit more about orgasmic energy, just do drop a comment. My assistant will get back to you, or you can send us a DM if you want to be more private. Whether you drop a comment or send a DM, my assistant will get back to you and make sure we have a bunch of nice free information that we want to give out to people to help you understand about how all this works. And of course, if you want to know more about how to master your sexual energy, I've got a couple of places left for my group program, a couple of places also for one-on-one coaching as well. So do get in touch if there's anything more you want to know, and have a great evening.
Yeah, thanks, June.
My pleasure, Robert. Thank you for